Right guys, I have decided I'm going to turn my attention to a little bit of lighting. I feel I need to do some lot more scenic work, to be honest guys. I'll do a bit of lighting and then I can work some of the buildings in a little bit better. Once the lighting's on, I can then mount the buildings properly and we can work the scenery around it. Right, my intention's here. I'm going to light that up on the inside and we're just going to use some of this. This is just the 5 volt, I believe it is the warm white, I might be wrong. I'm still going to use 12 volts, wire it to a resistor, so that'll be okay for inside. If you know this building quite well, let me show you. Just here, just on there, in the middle and at the end, there's some moulded floodlights. I'm going to actually replace them and I'm actually going to put some little LEDs on there. Look at these guys, these are very tiny. So we're going to have a crack with that, use some of those. Again, I have 2 lots, got another packet there. We've got white and we've got warm white. Because not all the lighting is going to be the same shade. I'm going to use various different ranges of resistors, so that I can dim some down, have some bright, get a bit of contrast going. For those that have been observant, got a new little building here I've been working on, little site office. So again, that'll have lighting as well. We shall go across a tiny little bit and we'll move you up. There, that's better. Right then, I've got these very tall lights. These are by CR Signals, it's a single light. I've got 4 of those. These are from Japan, I think they're called park lighting. I'll probably paint them grey, and I think I'm going to have that where my site works is, where my crane is. These, again, are by CR Signals. These are double yard lamps. These ones are the white ones. They do a yellow version as well for the people that got the steam yards. Other thoughts I've got is above the doors I'm going to have a light. I might even put lights where the signs are. We'll go across here a little bit. So yeah, this area here, this is where I intend to use these guys. I've got a fueling point here. I'll probably add, if you look under here, I've actually put a little bit of plastic card, painted it up because the actual roof is metal. I might add a couple of lights to that as well. I might even put a light above the door at the end there, and I'm going to have some more lights on there as well. Now, to get the lighting right, I need to sort of work on it bit by bit, try it out, vary the resistance. I might have some lights bright, some lights dark. You know, play by ear really. I don't know how much lighting I'm going to need on this thing, but that's the actual idea for that. Right then, so this is an LED distribution board. What have we got on it? So we've got 12 volt inputs here, so that's quite nice. We've got, we can put wires in on this side, you've got plus and minus, same on the other side. We've also got some plugs we can use on here and some pin slots we can use on here. On here you can switch between 12 volts and 3 volts, so you could have your 12 volts going in, switch it to 3 volts and you wouldn't need a resistor at all. Me, I want to use the 12 volts. I like having that sort of control of my LEDs. There will be LEDs I want to dim down. This came in a lovely little box. Came in a box full of little wires. So comes with the actual plugs. That'll plug into the white bits. Got some little short lengths of these. These are obviously to plug in the end. And of course, normal wires at the side. There is a little blue variable resistor there. I assume that is so you can actually dim down the lighting a little bit more if you wanted, or you could dim it up. What else is there? There's a little light on there. I've currently got a 12 volt 5 amp transformer for my lighting. Plug that in, little light comes on, tells you you've got power. So that's quite handy. So that is what I intend to use. This is what we call, I suppose I would call it, a resistor bank. It's a 7-decade resistor board, and there is lots of values on here. So you got 1R, 10R, 100R, 1K, 10K, 100K, 1M. Try and show you that. You look at the sides, you've got a 0 from the top going down to a 9 at the bottom. So depending what position I put these headers in, I will get a resistance at the end. So the idea is I can wire this up in the chain with my LEDs, mess around on this board, find out what resistance I need, then I can look, see if I've got the resistors or if I need to order any resistors, and with a bit of luck that should get me a nice balance of lighting across the board. So I've got a few of these. I've actually got 4 in all. Got some more here. This is how they look when they come. So I can actually test 4 lights all together, wire it up right up to this board here in a chain, and then I can mess around with the resistances and get the actual light levels right. So that's the actual plan on that one. Right, for my actual buildings, I want to try and put the resistors inside the buildings. So I'm going to use some SMD resistors. Now SMD resistors are very, very tiny. I shall show you. Come on a big strip. Let's put it down here. A big strip. That is the size of an SMD resistor. Now then, you might think, oh, they're going to be sods to solder. Yes, they probably are. But I've got a little PCB. And the idea on this PCB is you will solder your resistor across them two. Then you've got a wire coming in and a wire going out. So effectively what I could do is, once I know the resistance on my LEDs, solder all this in, get my building. I will actually cut that down, stick that inside there. Right there, this is my shed. What I've actually done is, if you look at the bottom of it, you've got a hole there. So what I've tried to do is I've penciled it out. So these strips will go there and there, because I need to solder a wire across here to link these 2 strips up. That I will cut down. I will have a diode feeding the strips. Now you're saying, why are you using a diode, Tony? Why don't you just wire straight to the strips? Well, the reason being is when my building's on that way, I want these lights to work and there'll be nothing at the other side. Now then, if I wanted to change the period on this layout, re-signage, I could maybe have one sign on this side, which would be the modern day side. On the other side I might have an old BR sign, which means I could switch it around and make it so that these lights work and those don't. In order to do that, I'm going to be using a diode, so it'll only feed in for one end, and only one set of lights will actually work. That's the plan on that one. So that's why I want to use a diode. And I'm going to have 3 more points off there, and that will lead 3 separate lamps here, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. We'll have a feeding at this side and a feeding at that side, but on the layout I'll only have 1 feed-in point, so depending which way the building actually faces will depend on which actually set of lights work. So that's my plan. Right, I'm handheld, so it's a bit wobbly. But this is roughly the amount of light I've actually got coming out of my engine shed. So once they're actually on the roof, it's just a nice little glow. And I'm now going to try and get 3 little lights wired up, and we'll see what they look like on the outside. Right guys, I'm a bit shaky here, but that is the size of the resistors I'm using, the surface mount resistors. So we'll go over to the board. It's not the prettiest of soldering, but it works. Bring you out a little bit. There you go. As you can see, I've got 3 brighter lights and not so bright on the strips. Hopefully that should give me the right colour contrast. Right then, so I've actually decided just to glue the strips in. I've done one end of the wiring, which is this end. You can see all the wiring mess there. And if you look at this side, I've actually got my LEDs mounted. Now this is the back end. I thought I'd do the back end first because that's the end we're not likely to see much unless I flip it round. So I decided to just glue it all in. I've glued all the wiring in as well, and to be honest I think I'm just going to paint the whole roof grey and it'll cover all the boards and everything. Now if I show you on this end, I don't know if you can see, but just below the lights I've actually drilled 3 holes just there. That's for my wiring to go in. Now on this end, for some reason that hole just would not drill. I hit something hard in the resin. I've got no idea what it was. I've tried electric drill to get through it, but in the end I just sort of gave up because it's a resin building at the end of the day. You have to put too much pressure on these things, it's just going to crack, and I didn't want that. So I just decided I'd lash the wire round, I'll paint it up. It's just one of those things, isn't it guys? But the rest of it, they're all in. Right guys, as you can see, this is the back end of the actual engine shed. In my view it's the back end anyway. A couple of lights down here, they're going to be for signs. Got me 3 lights lit. If you notice, nothing lit at the back. We'll just turn the lights off so you can see. There you go. I've actually got my little site office lit as well, and a bit of the industrial building lit. Let's put the lights back on. So all you do is we'll lift it off. As you can see here, I've got a socket there, and down here, socket there. All I do is flip the building round, line it up, and it just drops on the top, just like that, because this is be the only building I think on here that'll actually come off. As you can see, lights now work on that end, and they don't work on the other end. Just show you that. There you go, lights are off on the other end now. So there you go, that's what we've got so far. I've got that lit up as well. Oh, I've got a bit of glue on there. Let's take that off. There we go. Put that down there. Show you the lighting on that. There you go. Doesn't show up very well on the camera. I will show you a closer clip of the office in a minute, and then we'll just give it a quick summary up. I'll show you the interior of the building as well, and I'm going to show you what plugs I've used. So we'll go over to the workbench. I'll talk a little bit about the plugs as well. Okay guys? Right guys, I just want to show you the connectors I ended up going with for this build for my engine shed. These are what we call JST, and these are 2.5 2-pin, the 2.5 pitch. These are actually the same size as the Just Plug system by Woodland Scenics. I think that's why I originally bought them, because I was going to look into that system and see how good it was. and I thought I'd get some additional plugs. I mean, they're cheap enough. I got 10 sets of these, sorry, and it was like £2.50 from China. Yeah, you wait 6 weeks for them, but you know, otherwise you pay silly money for these things. Anyway, this is what I've actually got. Look very similar to what you get in the Daypole Mark III coaches and a lot of the other Daypole coaches, thinking about it. Similar plug. Difference is on the Daypole ones, they use a pitch of 1.25 millimeters, whereas this is a pitch of 2.5. They're called mini micro JSTs. Now then, if you notice, there's a gap round the top, and literally they just pull out. So that is the end that I've actually housed into the engine shed. This is the bit that's actually on my board. What I've had to do is I've had to trim bits off it. I don't know if you can tell properly, but I've had to, it's got like a little catch there at both sides, so I trimmed that back so that wasn't catching properly. On there it has lugs as well. Don't know if we can catch that properly, but there you go, we have got lugs on there as well, so I trimmed them back. So essentially that catch element at the front wasn't catching anymore. And I literally filed down all the sides, well, that side, and a bit off the back. And I must have took at least 1 millimetre off it, I reckon, in the end. So it literally just sort of dropped in and pushed on. So that's what I've done. Now then, I just want to show you a useful tool while I'm on about these JST connectors. Like I said, you get them in the Daypole coaches, and you also get them in the locos. If you try to take a loco body off, you usually find a smaller version of this, plugging in for the lights. Well, what I've found is this, and it's a set of tweezers. And literally, what you do is say that's, we'll plug that in the right way. So that's plugged in like that. What you would do, you put your tweezers on like that, if I can get it in right, and pull. And that is it. That is how easy it is. And where I actually got this from, you won't believe this, guys, but this came from Hornby. It's what they use to remove the plugs on the tender for the steam locos. That is the actual code for it. It's a Hornby number, and that's what I use. I thought, yeah, I'll have one of those because I've got lots of Daypole locos. If I ever want to take the body off fully, happy days. I've actually got some tweezers now, because to be honest, I've struggled with those white plugs. You know, you're worried if you're going to break wires off them and all sorts. So there you go, useful tool from Hornby itself. Can't remember what I paid for it, £5, something daft like that. I suppose that's what you expect from Hornby, isn't it? But it's going to save me a lot of hassle, and it's just easy to remove these types of plugs. So there you go, guys, there's a little tip for you now. Right guys, this is just a clip I wanted to show you before I actually put the thing together. As you can see, I have got a £1 coin there just for reference of size. Got my table, orange chairs, because I was thinking of the actual plastic chairs that you tend to get in these kind of places. Obviously you can see what's going on here. Now what I'd like to show you is what I've used for the chairs. So this is something I've picked up ages ago, but that's the number. It's Priza or Priza, however you want to pronounce it. You can tell from the price how old it is, and it's actually just a cafe scene originally. That's the number there, and this is just one of the sprues, if I can show you that. You got the tables there, you got benches over here. These are all stools. If you look here, turn it over, you can see the stools, and they're the little chairs. And I've literally just painted them orange, giving them some black legs. So that's how I've actually got my chairs in there. Looking at it on the side, you see I've got my orange chairs, I've got a little workman there, and the desk as well. And just to show you the little rat's nest, this is it lit up. Underneath, on this side, I've put some lockers, and that is where all my wiring is actually hidden. Just comes out to 2 wires here at the end, and I've just literally used one of those little circuit boards that I did on my engine shed, soldered some SMDs onto it, some little resistors, and there are my 2 lights there, as you can see. So that's what it looks like on the inside. I was considering whether to actually put an outside light on, but to be fair, this is quite bright anyway, so I decided against that. So I just thought I would show you this in its separate pieces. Obviously you'll have seen it on the layout, but I just wanted to show you the actual details inside as well. So there you go guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you again soon later. Bye for now.